Every time I think of the bakery, I think of the pizza. It was so good and so delicious. Every time there was a piece left, I'd grab it and I'd start eating it. Eventually it was very popular. Sundays, we couldn't furnish the people. They kept calling, and here I was on the phone, Napoletana, Napoletana. My name is Mary, or Catherine, my granddaughter, and Joanne, my daughter.
We're going to be making Pizza Napoletana from my family's bakery, which was called Corona Bakery. It was a standard at the bakery and something that was always prepared there. And it was something that I also, grew up eating. I sometimes got to have it for breakfast at Christmas, and that's like an important memory for me. It was like the only time, I could eat something other than cereal or toast for breakfast. So.
The pizza was something I grew up with because I worked at the bakery, and that's the pizza we were brought up with and enjoyed. We were spoiled. Catherine was spoiled, and we were all spoiled. We were the only bakery in the area that did that, so it was good. Very good.
What kind of pizzas did we make at the bakery?
We made that one, the Napoletana, and just a plain tomato, which was much thicker.
I wouldn't touch the other one. Well, the other one, it depends your taste. They were used to with a lot of tomato, so they used to come in French to me because I spoke the 3 languages. They'd say, "Je vais avoir l'autre avec grosse épaisse, puis belle la tomate." I said, "Look, everybody to their own taste."
That was the pan they used, and what they did is they had a whole pile of them, and they would oil them after the pizza came out of the oven. Put the pizza on a table, and then they would take a rag full of oil and oil them all before they used it for the next pizza.
Oh, that was a lot of work.
The recipe that we're making today is actually not our family recipe. My uncle, who owned the bakery, didn't want to give us the recipe because he wanted to keep it secret. So we found a recipe that's approximately what my grandmother and my mom remember the pizza dough being. Do you want to tell us about the dough, Grandma?
Leo, your grandfather, he used to put the water, the yeast.
When you proof the yeast.
Proof the yeast, yeah.
Yeah, he'd prepare it in a bucket the night before, left it in the bakery.
What kind of yeast did we use at the bakery, though?
It was one in a block.
And what was the company?
L'Allemand.
Oh,
the best in the city. Now, I don't think it exists anymore. I mean, this is years. He'd come in the morning, right away, he'd start with that yeast thing, put it in the flour, and then he'd start the motor.
That's a big mixer. They had a big mixer. Ma, they had a big mixer. It's a mixer.
Big?
Yeah, it's a mixer.
And it was making noise. We were living upstairs. We got used to it. I say noise. I say noise.
It was noisy.
Che si mangia la zita, che si mangia la zita, che si mangia la zita la prima sera. Che si mangia la zita la prima sera.
Leo used to do this. You'd fry them like that. Scarpelle. See how nice they are? You just roll them like that. The Italians they loved that. You used to do it during the holidays. Scarpelle.
Grandpa used to do this by hand all the time.
Yeah.
Every pizza.
Yeah. This is what they had to do.
And he was fast, eh? My father was from Campobasso in Larino. My mother was from Abruzzo, from Artelete. My father came here first, and then my mother with her mother.
How old was Nanan when he came?
He was about 16. He was alone, And then he started working, you know, here and there. But the last job he had was at a bakery, Sicator Bakery. That was the first one around here. And he kept working there, and you know, he made a little bit of money. But then, you know, he figured, he says, I'm going to build my own bakery. So he had his brother, the youngest one.
What was his name?
Vincenzo. Now, to get the flour, it was the best flour mill in town, St. Lawrence Flour Mill. So he asked for their help. He says, look, I'm willing to buy your flour, but I haven't got the means to pay you right away. He says, look, Monsieur Monaco, I know you work hard. You're starting with nothing. We'll give you the flour. As you progress and you make a little money, you pay us off. That's how he started. 1932, they opened the bakery. A one-story little bakery. Had a bell when you opened the door. 6901 Bordeaux Street. Then he met my mother because she didn't live far from here.
And how many kids did they have?
6, 3 girls, then there's the boys. I was about 12. He wanted to make a house upstairs. My father wanted a family near him. So he built the second story. I was going into 11th grade. My father says to me, you're going to work in the office. So I left at 10th grade. That was quite a bit for a girl to learn that high. But then I came back here. I worked from 9 to 5 with my father. Ooh. My mother, she used to help a lot. She loved working downstairs. And I was there to, you know, to help her. We had a store. Before we didn't, you know, like this. But then eventually people kept coming in more and more. And I couldn't get up from the office because I had to keep some of the books. So they finally built a counter. And, you know, the people at least could be served. I used to serve them better, you know, bread and pizza. And my mother, she'd always come down. She loved to stay there. When was the war? In 39, yeah?
Yeah.
They were brought, they were taken the year after. They came to the bakery with an RCMP. I didn't know who they were because they weren't dressed in the uniforms. They were black and white. Mr. Monaco, I says, he's not here. So they waited for the two of them. They took them in the car. That was it. We knew about nothing else. They brought him to Pizzawawa. The camp is not there no more. He stayed there 6 months, the two of them.
And why did they bring them there?
Because they thought they were traitors, you know, like, you know, they're Italians, and then it was Mussolini and all that, you know, they thought they was traitors. It wasn't true. My mother says, who's going to sell the bread? Who's going to count the bread? I says, nah, okay. I got up at 5:30 in the morning, go downstairs, and, you know, count the bread as all the
Orders.
The orders were given. And then I'd go upstairs, change, and then come back down and work. I kept it going for 6 months. Anyhow, he came out because they found that he had nothing to do with this war. He gets out of the car, he looks at the building. His face changed. He says, I've got the building. He says, yes, my brother went, yes, Daddy, you have the building. But he had to rebuild it because, you know, I was young, I was trying to do the best, but I did it. But don't ask me how. Today I say, is it possible? but you do it. And then my father, you know, he worked so hard. I said, what am I going to do? I have to do it.
Can you tell us how you
Yeah.
met Grandpa?
I knew him since I was working at the bakery, and he was foreman. Eventually, I don't know who did it, but he says, look, you get along so well. Somebody in the family, I don't know who. He says, how about going out together? Huh. I started after that, about 21, you know. We went out for 4 years, because then the Second World War was on, and he didn't want to get married during the war. We finally married. So then it started, you know, I worked at a bakery, he still worked. Then he worked till the age of 64. He says, Mary, I'm tired. So he left.
Yeah, he worked, what, over 35 years, right?
Oh,
at the
more
bakery?
than that.
Yeah, yeah. 'Cause
He was about 18 or 20 when he started.
For the sauce, you take a 28-ounce can of San Marzano tomatoes, and you want to take off all the hard ends of the tomatoes, and then you crush them with your hands. You want to crush it relatively small, so there are little chunks, and then you add in salt, pepper, and chopped parsley. That's how they did it at the bakery, and they would always crush it with their hands.
They'd mix that up the night before. They'd leave it overnight, and then in the morning, then they'd lay out the dough. But the dough was only this thick. They'd work it, put a bit of oil around the pan, not much, on the dough. Then they'd put the tomato.
So, a scoop?
Even more, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah. All right, try and spread it
How do you, with the ladle or with your hand?
with your hands. Then they'd put a cheese, grated cheese, that's important. They put grated cheese all over, work it in the dough with a little bit of oil. There, that's it.
That's it?
Yeah.
There you are.
Okay. And then you bake it.
No, you don't bake it, you eat
Oh,
it like
okay.
that. I'm bad, I'm bad.
Okay. So we're gonna bake it at 500.
Hey!
Yeah.
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 Here. Oh,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah,
true.
because, so don't forget.
Because in the bakery it was baked in the
Oh.
wood burning oven.
Yeah, there was wood and coal.
Oh, okay.
And then you'd see that flame,
Yeah.
blue, pink, white,
Yeah,
you know, going through the, and the oven was so big, you
It
could
hold how many
put in
pizzas?
about 300 loaves.
Loaves, but how many pizzas?
Well, it depends. You see how much loaves he had. He had to put the loaves first, and then
he
he'd put the
did
pizza at the
yeah. He
side.
could put easy, what?
If he didn't have too much loaves, he'd put over 7 or 8 pizzas, all big like that, and all on a shovel, eh? A big long shovel. When it came out, it was no higher than this.
Can you show me?
No, yeah.
Okay.
About
It's not even.
not even a half an inch.
What do you think?
This looks very good.
Yeah.
I think it's very, very well done.
That's
Okay.
good.
You like it? The crust is
Yeah, but that's
dark
not-
like I remember it.
Yeah, yeah. What happened is around the edges, it become like dark like this, like it's really dark, and it gave that extra taste. So it was really good. So we almost did it.